Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of What's in the Night Sky, sponsored by Squarespace. And it is October, which means we're saying farewell to the Milky Way core, and the winter circle asterism of stars makes a great comeback to the night sky. So coming up this month, we have the winter circle. We also have the peak of the Orionids meteor shower. There's also the peak of the southern Taurids meteor shower. There's a partial solar eclipse, and there's also a lunar occultation of Uranus. Quick announcement before we deep dive into all of that. You can now order my 2023 What's in the Night Sky calendar. Just follow the link in the video description down below. It has all the significant astronomical events already placed into the calendar and 13 of my lovely images. Also, another message from the sponsors of today's video, Squarespace. Squarespace is the place to host your website or online store. You can use it to host galleries of your images and boost the SEO of your website by having interesting articles on a blog. I use my Squarespace website as an online store to sell physical products like my book or my night sky calendar, and also digital products like my Astro Workflow Lightroom presets. I would not be a full-time photographer if I didn't have my Squarespace website. If you'd like to give it a try, head on over to squarespace.com/Alan. Start with one of their award-winning templates. When you're happy with the design and you want it to go live, use the code Alan at the checkout for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain name with Squarespace. Starting in the northern hemisphere, where as darkness falls, you get a last little glimpse of the Milky Way core setting in the southwest. But as the night goes on, that leaves the Great Rift section of the Milky Way standing almost vertically on the western horizon. It's a really beautiful dark dust lane blocking the view of the Milky Way behind. In the southern skies, you'll find Saturn and Jupiter has just come out of opposition, and it made its closest approach to Earth in 59 years, so it's still shining very bright at a magnitude of about minus 2.75 this month, and both of them are still in retrograde motion. Facing north towards the circumpolar constellations, and Ursa Major, the Big Bear, is still sweeping low across the northern horizon in its upright position. It's a really nice opportunity to capture it with some foreground landscape. Facing east, and the bright star Capella of the constellation Auriga, along with the Pleiades, start low on the horizon in the night, but as they rise higher in the sky, so too do the winter constellations like Taurus, Gemini, and Orion. Sirius then rises at about 2 AM, depending on your location, and we now have the full winter circle or winter hexagon asterism of stars in the sky. Mars can be found right in the middle of the winter circle this month, and it starts the month at a magnitude of minus 0.6, but brightens quite significantly to minus 1.2 by the end of the month. It's also a really good time of the year to photograph the spiral galaxy Andromeda, because it's very high in the sky, even from the early evening, and it spends most of the night very high in the sky. Onto the southern hemisphere, and facing west as darkness falls, the Milky Way core is still visible thanks to the latitude advantage, and it's a good time to grab a last-minute Milky Way arch panorama with the core at the apex. Once the core sets, Saturn and Jupiter can be found high in the western skies, and they will sink to the horizon as the night goes on. Jupiter still very bright this month as it's only just come out of opposition. Facing south towards the circumpolar constellations, and the large and small Magellanic Clouds spend most of the night pretty high in the sky, and the Crux constellation and the Carina Nebula can be found skirting very low along the southern horizon. The visibility of those obviously depending on your exact latitude. Facing east, you will see the Pleiades rising from the horizon, along with the southern summer constellations Taurus, Orion, Auriga, and Gemini, with bright stars from these constellations making the asterism of the southern summer circle or the southern summer hexagon. The planet Mars can be found in the middle of this asterism this month, starting at a magnitude of minus 0.6, but brightening to minus 1.2 by the end of the month. And facing east in the pre-dawn hours is another opportunity for a Milky Way arch panorama, this time with the southern summer constellations on the left-hand side, stretching over to the Carina and Crux constellations on the right-hand side. As for conjunctions and close approaches this month, on October the 8th, you'll find a nearly full moon next to the very bright Jupiter. It's going to be a really impressive coupling. And then a week later, on October the 15th, the gibbous moon joins Mars inside the winter circle asterism of stars. Full moon this month is on the 9th, and it's the hunter's moon, as it signaled the time to go hunting in preparation for the cold winter ahead. As for these special events this month, between the 5th and the 10th, the Draconids meteor shower is active. The peak is around the 7th, where you can expect 5 to 10 per hour. And the Draconids is actually a unusual meteor shower in that the highest activity occurs in the evening rather than in the pre-dawn hours. So the evening of October the 7th, where unfortunately there will be a first quarter moon blocking out all but the brightest meteors. And it's one of those meteor showers that's pretty much only visible from the northern hemisphere, because Draco, the dragon, the constellation where the radiant point is very close to the North Celestial Pole. And there's another meteor shower that's active pretty much all month in the southern Taurids. Now, despite the name, it's not a southern hemisphere meteor shower. There's two Taurid meteor showers, the northern and the southern. They both radiate from pretty much the same point in the night sky. They both radiate from Taurus, the constellation. It's basically two different streams of particles that have probably been split apart by the gravity of Jupiter, causing two separate radiant points. The southern Taurus is expected to peak around the 10th, although that's pretty much still up for debate. A lot of people still think it peaks in November, but either way, the peak is not a very sharp peak like other meteor showers, which have a day or two of very high activity. The Taurid meteor showers are very constant and very broad over a long period of time, but they both tend to produce a high rate of fireballs. So despite being so close to the full moon, you still might see a few very bright meteors. And another meteor shower that's pretty much active all month is the Orionids, but it peaks on October the 21st into the 22nd, where you can expect about 20 to 25 meteors per hour from a dark sky location. The radiant point is within the constellation Orion, so it's a meteor shower that can be observed from both hemispheres. And this month we have a crescent moon, so conditions are pretty favorable to enjoy this meteor shower. This is one of the better ones of the year. It's not the best, certainly not the worst, but it's definitely one of the better meteor showers of the year. And given the moon phase, it's one not to be missed. Then on October the 25th, we have a partial solar eclipse where the moon will pass in front of the sun, but it won't cover it completely. The best place to be is central Russia or Kazakhstan, where it'll be a magnitude of 0.8. So it covers 0.8 of the diameter of the sun. But you can still enjoy a partial eclipse from mainland Europe and the UK. It just won't cover the sun quite as much. But I'll put a link in the video description down below so that you can find out exactly how great the magnitude will be for your location. And lastly, another event for those of you that use telescopes, on October the 11th into the 12th, there's a lunar occultation of Uranus where the moon will block Uranus from view. And that's visible for pretty much all of Western America and Canada, where you'll be able to see the moon blocking Uranus from view. And then in the early hours of the morning, Uranus will reappear. So I'll put a link in the video description down below for more information on that. And that's all I've got for you this month, guys. Now on to the hashtag WITNS. For those of you that are new here, every month I set a target subject or theme for people to photograph and upload their images to social media using the hashtag WITNS. I then pick my favorite 3 for a prize. Third place wins a copy of my Astro Workflow Lightroom presets. Second place wins a Constellation hoodie from my merch store. And first place wins a copy of my book, Photographing the Night Sky. Last month's theme was basically a free-for-all, just any old images, and I was looking for interesting stuff that stood out, caught my eye, and was a bit different. So in third place was In Samu with this interesting star trail image over a Castello di Torre. I know I'm not going to say that. I just love the cleanliness of this image. I'm quite partial to a longer focal length star trail, And I love the harmony between the pink in the twilight sky and the green in the foreground and the illumination on the castle, and just overall just such a pleasing image to look at. In second place was Renate with this mountain scene in the winter. You got some really nice wispy clouds in the sky. It's a very ethereal image, and I know I've been very vocal in the past about having classic head torch shots in astrophotography, but I feel that it's just been used really effectively here. The color of the light is really cool, drags your attention, and you see this amazing waterfall in what is an incredible looking landscape. And in first place is Brennan with this incredible image of Jupiter and the 4 Galilean moons rising above a barn captured at a focal length of 2,350 millimeters, and the barn was 1.5 miles away. This is truly impressive stuff. This month, let's go with meteors. There's so many meteor showers active right now. Get out there and shoot as much as you can. But I'll also accept images of the solar eclipse. And if anybody gets the lunar occultation of Uranus as well, that will be a big bonus point. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of What's in the Night Sky. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're going out to enjoy the night sky anytime soon, I wish you good luck in clear skies.